Until quick live, I'm gonna do won't be on for too long. Probably talk about Dynamite and what just happened, how the show ended. Cause it's still going on, and I'm kind of confused. Oh, the Young Bucks brought the cage back down. Okay, that's one way to end the show. So Gabe Kidd is doing stuff with the Death Riders now. Okay, that's interesting. So the Young Bucks and Death Riders are working together now? I mean, I guess they've been hinting at it. So, but them getting Gabe Kidd involved now, that's what's throwing me off. So you got the Young Bucks, the Death Riders, and Gabe Kidd all standing tall. Okay, that yeah, Gabe Kidd being here super random. I'm trying to see where AEW is gonna go with that. Dynamite's still going. So Swerve is coming out there now, so he gonna have to climb into the cage. They got to build up for blood and guts. So, what isn't? Yeah, that's in. But I'm pretty sure blood and guts is in like July, so they got time to build to it. Yeah, they got time to build to it. Oh, he just jumped off the cage onto everybody. Okay. Matthew Jackson just let the cage up. Said the St. Louis Cardinals putting that work in. Yeah, I think did we played a double hit today. We lost the first one, but we won the second one. But it's all we've been on a winning streak lately, so it's all good. But yeah, hope I didn't watch the games today because I've been kind of sick, so I wasn't able to watch the games today. But hold on, what? That is not what I tried to spell. These AEW shows go overtime all the time. You said the Cardinals one game back of the Cubs. Okay, that's good because we started off the season super mid, but we done won. Well, we 9-1 in our last 10, if I'm not mistaken. So we can keep that going. We can get that spot from the Cubs. I swear, still talking. That's let me look up the MLB. No, what the fuck? All right. Oh, Anarchy in the Arena. So is that gonna be for? I think that's for Double or Nothing. Yeah, the Cardinals only one game back. We can definitely get that spot from the Cubs. Yeah, like I said, 9-1 in our last 10. So yeah, we got a chance. Then the Cubs, they 4-6 in their last 10. We still suck on the road, but no, but Aiden, yeah, I gotta check out the highlights from the two games for the day because I didn't watch either one of those. But nah, just wrapped up watching Dynamite. it was a good episode. Give it like 8 out of 10. I'm kind of confused on the Gabe kid with the Death Riders and the Young Bucks. That's kind of confusing, but it is what it is, I guess. The Timberwolves and Warriors playing right now. They just ended the first quarter. The Timberwolves up 30-23. Yeah, just gonna chill for about 30 minutes. If anybody come on, maybe I'll do it for an hour, but I'll probably be done with this in about 30 minutes. Just want to come on here to talk some sports, talk about Dynamite with the or to talk some basketball too with the Celtics winning game 6. No, winning game 5 to extend the series to 6. A great game from Derek White. I got to look at his stat line again. Derek White had 34 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 9 of 16 from the field, 7 of 13 from 3, 9 of 11 from the free throw line. Derek White had a really good game. Was surprised that the Celtics won this game. I thought the Knicks were definitely going to take it. But the Celtics ended up winning by 25. They dominated that second half. Josh Hart finished with 24 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. Shot 5 of 9 from 3, shot 7 of 15 from the field. It really came down to the Celtics just dominating that second half. They had 6 players scoring double digits. You had 7 blocks from Luke Cornett, who came off the bench, also gave him 10 points, shooting 5 of 5 from the field. So that was a great game from him. This Timberwolves Warriors game looking decent so far. Jimmy Butler only having 1 shot attempt is diabolical. I don't get why Jimmy isn't taking more shots. I mean, he has 2 points from the free throw line, but he needs to be taking way more than 1 shot. Rudy Gobert is also 4-4, so it looks like this is going to be the Rudy Gobert game, which is good for Rudy Gobert. I like Rudy Gobert, so that's good for him. But yeah, Rudy Gobert already has 8 points in the first quarter alone. I gotta write that down. The Wolves 30-23 lead after the first quarter. Yeah, Rudy Gobert with 8 points. That's a great start for him. And Jimmy just 1 shot attempt. Buddy Hield is 1 of 5 to start the game. The Warriors just made it through. Was that Buddy Hield that made that, or was that somebody else? No, that was Pods. Buddy is 1 of 6 so far. Buddy Hield started the game 1 of 6, shooting 0 of 3 from 3. But mainly gonna talk about Dynamite and discovering the Warriors game since it's on right now. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for some more people to come through, and then I'm gonna talk about the Warriors game. I'm gonna talk about that for a little. I'll talk about that for a few more minutes. That's Shaquille Alexander Walker dribbling up the court, pass to Randall to Nas Reed. You got Draymond on him. A spin move, easy basket. Timberwolves gonna close it out of 5. They're not just gonna lay down, but the Warriors have played good without Steph in the lineup. So credit to them for that. And great steal by DiVincenzo. He gonna dunk it, okay. But he will try to go for the block, but couldn't contest it. Is that Pat Spencer? All right, Pat Spencer is playing. I don't really get Steve Kerr's rotations because Pat Spencer and Quentin Post are playing. So you put 60 guys off the Warriors bench to play it already. They played 11 guys already, and it's only 14 minutes into the game. It's only 2 minutes into the second quarter and 11 guys have played already. As for the Timberwolves, they've only had 2 or 3 guys come off the bench, and Dante, Nas, and Nikhil, and nobody else is coming off that bench unless it's in garbage time minutes. You got Pat Spencer, Quinn Post, Looney, Guy Santos, Gary Payton, Kuminga, all of them come off the bench already. But I don't get why you didn't start Kuminga. I probably would have started him, but Trace Jackson Davis is good too, but he only took 1 shot so far. You need to get him some more paint touches. He's not in the game right now. When the post is, but they played their big slight Trace Jackson Davis more, who's athletic, big. The same with Jonathan Kuminga. He might not be a big man, but he's athletic and long. I don't know why you're not playing some of them younger guys more, because they're gonna bring the energy. He might be young, but that shield can help you win now. But you have somebody like Pat Spencer in for some reason. Any Butler just I wasn't able to make that. But yeah. But yeah, that Celtics game in the second half, the Celtics just dominated. I'll make a post, a quick short post about that in the morning or tonight if this game ends at 11. If this game ends at 11, I can have it out by 12 before I go to sleep. And I got some other videos to make. Got stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be a great week. Really, realistically, for a while, definitely until August, I have some content consistently. So yeah, we'll see where all that goes. I'm definitely have some content consistently. I do have an idea that I might do. Yeah, that's a nah, I can't do that. But now I'm getting to the Dynamite recap. I kind of talked about some sports, talked about a little bit of basketball, nice photo by Nikhil, talked some basketball, talked some baseball. I ain't talked about no hockey, not today. I'm gonna talk about it in my post in the morning because I gotta catch one of the other game. But to get into Dynamite, start talking about that. Will Ospreay, Hangman taking on Takeshita and Josh Alexander. Fun tag team match to start the show. You had the tension rise between Hangman and Ospreay. It said you have to face each other at Double or Nothing in 11 days, if I'm not mistaken. Just because that's on May 25th, I think. Double or Nothing. And the tension rise throughout the match. The Don Callis family, they showed good teamwork, and just their 5th match tagging together. That's Takeshita and Josh Alexander. And obviously, it's different combinations that they do with the Don Callis family, but this one specifically, they were 4-0 going into this match. I figured they would lose it, but the way they lost it, I mean, it was a really good match. It's had Will Ospreay hitting both members of the Don Callis family with an Oscar, and it not being enough. Don Callis on commentary always after the matches. And I think that's one of the best things about Don Callis is that he is not just a manager. He's also a commentator for his guys. When they wrestle, he's going to be the one on commentary, joining the commentary team. So I like that a lot out of Don Callis. And then after that, it was the tension between Ospreay and Hangman continued to build throughout the match as Hangman almost hit Will with something, but he obviously wasn't trying to hit him on purpose. And then they hit this move, and they hit both their finishes. They did a buckshot, hidden blade combination, and Hangman pinned Josh Alexander to get the win. So they didn't pin Takeshita, which I like. Josh Alexander, he's new out there. He's been winning consistently. And this is his first time taking a loss or taking a pin, I should say. I don't know if definitely his first time taking a pin, might be his first loss as well. But he was good in the match. Then the tension, they got jumped after the match. Will Ospreay started unloading on everybody. Then Hangman came up on him. Did him too, because he didn't know who it was. And he tried to apologize, so the tension continued to rise. The ref was telling him, wait till Double or Nothing. Don't do this now. well, we got to bring a whole bunch of security guards out. We already got to do that enough. So they sent them. They both go to the. So that's the end of it. They both end up heading to the back. And that was a great way to start the show. I enjoyed that. Dynamite started off on a really high note. Top Flight, they had a backstage thing. Uh, I think they were talking to Renee, or they might have been talking. No, it wasn't Renee. They were talking to the other woman. But Top Flight, they was pissed about MJF and him hurting them last week. But they, what I liked about this segment, it was Dustin Rhodes coming up there with Sammy Guevara and just giving them advice. Like he a tag team guy, he a legend in the wrestling business. So him just giving them some insight, telling them how they can improve things, stuff like that. I like that. And what Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara had in the show later, I didn't like. But this I like specifically because having legends talk to the younger talent and see on their way up, that makes for a cool moment. So I didn't have a problem with that. I feel like they added a nice touch to the program in general. So then what followed that was the match between Ricochet and Zach Gowen. I don't know much about Zach Gowen, but Ricochet got scared with the moves that he was doing. It wasn't like Zach was doing nothing, not necessarily moves, but the way he was moving without his prosthetic leg that Ricochet took last week for whatever reason. And then Ricochet kind of got scared, just started running. Then he went dick first into the ropes, and because he went for, I forgot what move he went for, but Zach Gowen ended up moving, so he went dick first to the ropes. And yet, Ricochet did some great heel stuff. Like, I feel like Ricochet could do his heel gimmick if he stayed in WWE. But the heel stuff that he was doing in this match was good, like taunting Zach Gowen's family and some good stuff. Trying to use the brass knuckles and getting caught. Like, that's some good heel work by Ricochet. Ricochet is doing some good work, but he could have did all this in WWE. Gowen used his leg as a weapon, even though he could have just put it back on, so he ended up wrestling with one leg. So I guess. And then you had Ricochet hit the spirit gun to end up winning the match. And the match was cool, but I felt like that Gowen got way too much offense in against Ricochet. Like Ricochet, for him to be the heel that he is, obviously he can't like completely dominate that Gowen, but he got a lot of offense in for a guy with one leg, especially when he wasn't using his prosthetic leg since Ricochet had took it. Then after the match, you get the post-match attack, Ricochet attack him. Like, it's just unnecessary. Like, I get they want to do some goofy stuff, but I think Ricochet is above that at this point. I feel like Ricochet should be fighting for championships, but instead he's feuding with Mark Briscoe. Not that Mark Briscoe is bad, because Mark Briscoe, he's actually great. But you're gonna have them doing something, at least they put them in a championship match together or something like that. Like a triple threat match for a championship or something. But Mark Briscoe and Ricochet continuing their feud. I mean, it's cool, I guess. But Ricochet got to come out on top in this feud. There's no reason for Ricochet to lose to Mark Briscoe again if they do run it back. He shouldn't have lost the first time to begin with. But if they want to keep running this back, then cool, I guess. But it should end with Ricochet getting the win. Then the next segments after that was Renee. She talked to MJF. Then her syndicate, they'll let MJF know they was going to have an answer ready after their match. And then they had a match against Top Flight. In this match, I felt it was really pointless. The Hurt Syndicate versus Top Flight. Like, I get they want to build up the tag team division, but this isn't the way to do it. You should have did Top Flight versus Crew. And whoever won that match became the number one contenders for the Hurt Syndicate. Instead, you had the Hurt Syndicate hurt Top Flight and dominate them throughout the match. Like, Top Flight got no offense in during this match, which is crazy to me because they're a solid tag team. So how do they get no offense in during this match? Obviously, the Hurt Syndicate are powerhouses, but I feel like they did this match too soon. Top Flight wasn't able to get any offense in. The Hurt Syndicate ended up winning pretty easily. And then after the match, you had Sammy Guevara. Well, you had Lashley keep applying the Hurt Lock to Dante Martin for whatever reason. Like, the Hurt Syndicate were just faces last week, not our heels this week. I mean, I get they're tweeners, but doing it like that is kind of stupid. Again, I guess it works instead of hurt syndicate and they hurt people, but it's other ways you can do some of this stuff. Then you have Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes come out there. Dustin Rhodes selling last year to let them go, and now they want a title shot, even though you have Ring of Honor Gold. And then Crew comes out there and they want a title shot. Leo Rush, he had history with Lashley, so it's like, throw me a title shot. The MVP was like, both of y'all have a tag team match. Whoever wins faces us at Double or Nothing, which I like, but it should have been Crew versus Top Flight, not Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes. They need to keep doing stuff in Ring of Honor. That's where they need to be at. Not that they're bad, but if they had a Ring of Honor championships, they need to keep doing stuff there. There's no need for a potential double champion or anything like that. And then MJF, he finally got his answer. Bobby Lashley said yes. It was Shelton Benjamin was prepared to turn his back on him. Well, not turn his back on him, but prepared to hit MJF. If Lashley said no, which is very telling because it tells me that this isn't the end game. This isn't the end game with the Hurt Syndicate. MJF isn't going to be here for a long time. So they definitely going to do something with that because I noticed that Shelton Benjamin was prepared to unleash on Lashley, to unleash on MJF if Lashley said no and put the thumb down again. Then you get towards probably the best part of the show, the fatal four-way match between Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa, Sky Blue, and Azima, I think. I'm pretty sure that's her name, the New Japan Women's Strong Champion, Azima. So you had Sky Blue, she came back from injury, her first time wrestling in the last 10 months. Mina Shirakawa is essentially under AEW contract. And Azima, she beat Mercedes Moné at a New Japan event in the Fatal 4-Way to win the New Japan Women's Strong Championship. And I'm pretty sure she pinned Mina in that match or something like that. And you had a double press by Mina and Toni Storm, Sky Blue and Azima, and obviously they got history. Because Mina's had some did some stuff with AEW before. She's just been under New Japan contract. And now she's officially all elite under AEW contract and able to do some stuff with them. And she's gonna be a big name, and you can already tell about this match. And then you had Azima, she did a crossbody, which was really good. Sky Blue came off the top rope to the outside of the ring, diving onto everybody. And that was a great dunk by Kaminga. Just got the Warriors game on while doing this. I mean, you got really good action out of all four women during the match. So Mina, she ended up pinning Toni Storm, who was a perfect 12-0 in eliminator matches before the first time ever lost the eliminator match. Mina Shirakawa ended up pinning her, so she's now 12-1, and it's been made official for Double or Nothing. Mina Shirakawa is taking on Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. I don't see Toni losing. I think you got to do Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné at all in Texas. That's going to be the biggest women's match in AEW history. I don't see a world where they pass that up. So I think it's going to be a good match. It's a rematch from Forbidden Door. But I think Toni Storm, she got to win this match. I don't see Toni Storm losing. I don't think it makes sense. And it's not the right time for her to lose. And then speaking of Mercedes Moné, you had her attack Azima after the match. But Jamie Hayter came out there to stop the attack and attack Mercedes, which is going to be a good match between Mercedes and Jamie Hayter. But Mercedes got to win. Jamie Hayter is cool, but this one got to be Mercedes. She didn't have Jamie Hayter looking like the more dominant one the last few weeks. So he's trying to make it's kind of becoming obvious that Mercedes is going to win, but Mercedes is the right person to win that match. MJ, it was another backstage segment with MJF, basically telling MVP that if he's signing a big contract, he needs a lawyer. So he had this lawyer meet MVP, and he was like, it's nothing personal. I just need to make sure that everything is all good and it's under wraps. So I'm going to have my lawyer with me next week when I sign the contract. Nigel McGuinness, he apologized to Daniel Garcia for getting involved and getting him hurt last week with the FTR, which this segment didn't really lead to nothing. It wasn't a bad segment. It was cool. Daniel Garcia, Nigel McGuinness probably going to team up soon, despite Nigel McGuinness not wanting to get back in the ring. He's going to have to soon because FTR back at it again, attacked him once again. And what happened? Danny Magic came out there to make the save. They had a steel cage match to end it with um, Samoa Joe and John Moxley. This part of the show I got really confused on because the the steel cage match, it was all right. It wasn't nothing special. But you had the Death Riders and the Ops out there, and obviously once they put each other out, you had the Ops standing tall. Excuse me. Then you had Gabe Kidd slide a briefcase into the cage for John Moxley to use, and he used it. So John Moxley ends up getting the win because Gabe Kidd interferes. Then you get Gabe Kidd, the Young Bucks, Okada, Kenny Omega, uh, the Swerve, the Ops. You got all them in the ring to end the show, and now Swerve wants to Anarchy in the arena match. I'm assuming that's gonna be a double or nothing. I'm just have to check AEW's history and make sure. That's kind of, I mean, it's not random, but the Gabe Kidd thing, it doesn't really make sense in my opinion. I don't really know how we got to that. Gabe Kidd with the Death Riders and the Young Bucks. So he's in cahoots with the EVPs, I guess. So I don't know what to make of the main event. Like, it's left on a cliffhanger. It wasn't bad, but overall, I'll say it's still an 8 out of 10. This was a good show. Was it better than last week? Yeah, it was definitely better than, wait, yeah, it was definitely better than last week. But, well, not, I won't say definitely, but it was better. Like, it wasn't about like no, because last week I gave Dynamite was a 7 out of 10. I think it's an 8 out of 10 this week. Yeah, this was a good episode of Dynamite. And I think I'm in this in about 4 minutes. So I can talk about man, talk about some hockey for a little bit. But the Florida Panthers are on their way back to the East. Well, they could be on their way back to the Eastern Conference Finals because they won the Stanley Cup last year, and they're putting themselves in a position to get back to that point potentially. Like it's very possible for them to get back there. They just won a game 6-1 against the Maple Leafs, while scoring having 6 different players score all 6 of their goals in a 6-1 win. Not a single player had more than one goal, which is insane when you win a game 6-1. You would have assumed at least one person had 2 goals. That wasn't the case. They had a great team effort. Their goalie had a 96.9 save percent, which is very impressive. Obviously, 100 is perfect, but 96 is still very impressive. Out of 32 save attempts, only giving up 1 goal. Then, man, this Panthers team, like, I'm not surprised they're doing this. Like, I think I said in my video that the Panthers have a chance to repeat. Many people might be counting them out, but they could realistically repeat because they had that championship experience from last year. Even though they didn't finish how they want to, finishing as the 5th seed this year in the East, but this team can still go far. And they're up 3-2 against the Maple Leafs, who finished 2. I don't think they've ever been past the second round, the Maple Leafs. Or let me look it up to make sure, because I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong about that. They won 13 Stanley Cups in franchise history. I think it's under the new coach they have. They haven't been past the second round. I gotta look up that. When's the last? I'm looking up now to see the last time they went past the second round. The Maple Leafs last advanced to the second round in 2004. So they got there this year. So now they got to get past here, which might not happen when you have a player of Max Domi who has more penalty minutes than he does minutes on ice. That's that's embarrassing. Lost in the first round. Yeah, they didn't lost. No, in 2023 they lost in the second round, but they haven't been past the second round since 2002. That was the last time they went past the second round. So
Yeah.
what's going on, K Quick?
Ain't nothing, man. I'm just chilling, man. Came in here to see what you up to, man. What's the word?
And nothing much. I was talking about Dynamite earlier. Did you see the ending of it?
I did not. I was actually in a session, so I didn't get to catch the show. But what happened at the end? I don't mind if you tell me,
It
because
ended.
I'm gonna go back and watch it anyway. But like, I don't mind. You can tell me what happened.
The Samoa Joe and Moxley, they had their steel cage match for the World Championship, and
All right.
Gabe Kidd from New Japan interfered. Well, he handed Moxley a briefcase to hit Samoa Joe with, and I guess he's working with the Death Riders now.
They really are not trying to let Moxley drop this belt,
I don't know what's going on, and
bruh. Like, what are they doing? Like they're
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out because I'm watching. I'm like, okay, that's if I know Samoa Joe not gonna win it, but I'm trying to see how they gonna throw him out of the title. So you get a guy from New Japan to help Moxley.
I mean, I don't mind. Well, granted, I don't mind because anybody who from New Japan came through again.
Gabe Kidd.
Oh, I really gotta watch that now. Well, yeah, because I know about him. He's nice, but then at this point, they're gonna just start making stuff happen that really don't make sense. Like he's gonna retain because a damn piano fell on his opponent or something, and up match over. Title doesn't change hands. Still the champ. It's like they just gonna. I thought they were gonna do that with Roman after a while. You know what? I think that's the problem. It's all these Shield members. That's what the problem is. Notice all these Shield members.
Yeah.
Man, it's always some fuckery going on with these guys. I'm noticing.
Because when Roman Reigns faced Finn Balor, the ropes just randomly broke at elimination at Extreme Rules. Like how the ropes break? That was never explained.
That was crazy. No, it wasn't, because I actually think that was actually really an accident, and they're trying to just erase it from people's minds. Oh man, that one was crazy. But
I don't think anybody gonna forget that.
Man, I ain't gonna front. The one that made me the most mad with Roman was and granted, I'm not gonna be surprised if they pull something like this with Moxley. Only it's gonna be like to a higher degree because they dang near can get away with anything in AEW at this point. For crying out loud, they shank somebody with a syringe. But anyways, when Roman and Brock Lesnar had that last man standing match, and the Usos and everybody came out, they literally took anything that wasn't nailed down and threw it on top of Brock. Man. They threw 3 tables on him. They threw chairs and ladders and friggin' part of the ring. If a truck was there, they would have rolled that on top of it. They were doing everything, bruh. And it took 3 people to damn do it, bruh. And I'm like a damn forklift or not a forklift, but a bulldozer was at the ring, lifting the ring up in the air. Like it looked like a cartoon, bro. It was, now granted, I was entertained by that match, but damn.
Yeah.
But shit.
At Double or Nothing, it's Ospreay and Hangman. Whoever win get Moxley, but I don't think either one of them gonna beat him at all in.
Well, of course they're not. And it's gonna get to the point. It's just, at this point, the only way they're gonna keep the title on him, there's gonna be some BS that happens, because theoretically, if it was straight up, like just hands, nobody interferes, so on and so forth. If I was to put my money on it, the guy that can beat him is Samoa Joe. But of course, knowing what we're dealing with, we knew that he was going to keep that belt, because the consensus wanted him, from what I gathered, The consensus wanted him to drop it to Swerve. We saw what happened there, but it's it's just a lot, dog. It's like I said, this only happened with the shit. Like, all right, see, look, all these wrestlers should have just tried to get recruited by the Shield, because apparently, when you are a former Shield member, you are guaranteed at least one title reign that lasts 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Even
You're guaranteed at least one of them.
when they brought the World Heavyweight Championship back and Seth Rollins won it was like 3 times when he could have lost it. He could have lost it to Finn Balor. He could have lost it to Shinsuke. Like, they just kept it going.
I personally think he should have lost the Shinsuke. Like, to me, I think Shinsuke should have won that. You know, especially with how the match was going. It looked like it was, for a while, Shinsuke was getting him in the match. And like the build, everything, it's like the build up to it and everything was set up for Shinsuke to win. In my opinion, that is the main match. I feel the belt should have got dropped in. The Shinsuke one.
I wouldn't have been mad at that, but I think he should have lost to Finn Balor, because you already had history with them too, with them going into that match and them getting injured and not being able to keep the title. So if he's gonna get back on anybody to get the title back, why would it not be Seth? Because after that just kind of killed his momentum.
I ain't gonna hold you. That's I agree with that too. Just for real, storyline aside, I just feel Finn Balor deserves a respectable title reign. Like, that man literally deserves that, dog. I mean, you figured like he would already be kind of low key guaranteed. Of course, this is the wrestling business; nothing is guaranteed. But you figured like they would at least spin a block on that, being that he had to drop the title due to him jacking up his shoulder to win the title. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, I just feel like I wouldn't have been mad at him dropping it to Finn either, because I genuinely, and still now, I genuinely feel Finn deserves a title reign. So
yeah, I feel like, maybe it's just me, but I don't think Seth needs to win it again. Like, I just think people talk about who Jay should lose to. I think Jay should lose to somebody like a Braun Breaker. I don't think Seth needs a world title again.
Well, yeah, for real, I feel like Braun Breaker or somebody, there needs to be somebody that puts up a diligent chase for that title. Because for real, a lot of them, all right, the money is in the chase. Because if you, all right, look at it this way. When Roman was still the champion, right? The fact that he had Cody on his ass, that made everybody get behind him. That made everybody get behind the story, everything, because the long-term chase of Cody getting to that title built the anticipation up so damn high for that title, for that final duel. It took two WrestleManias to pull it off. First one, he lost. Second one, he got that dub. But like, that chase, that shows that if the rivalry, the chase between good and evil, for lack of better description, if that's there, it's generating money. You know, so they need one of those for Jey Uso. They just need like evil ass villain. And for real, I feel like it's going to, even if it's not Seth, because I think we both agree Seth doesn't need a title right now. He doesn't need one, especially because he held the world championship for a decent amount of time last time. So he'll be good. But I feel like it's going to come out of that group, though, because they're trying to make it the most heel faction in the WWE right now. So if any taste is coming out of it, it's going to be coming out of that faction.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a copy and paste of what they did with Evolution. So Seth would win it, then Braun is taking from him. But you could have did that a different way. I feel like Braun, because Braun and Jey Uso already have history. They got a match, which I mean, I guess they kind of have to do it with the story now. But it's like you got You got Gunther after Jay, you got Logan after him, got
Yeah.
Seth after him.
Now another possible factor. Now, if Sammy turns, he could have Sammy coming after him too, because Sammy is still on his quest to get that world title.
Yeah, I do think Sammy is turning, but if the Royal Rumble is in Saudi Arabia, the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia next year, I see him winning that.
Mhm. Definitely. So I mean, and also granted, this is the WWE has a history of reusing angles and segments and so on and so forth. They have a huge history of doing that. I still remember back when they did that segment with Daniel Bryan when they had him out there wearing a suit. Then he ripped the suit off and threw the suit in the crowd. That was a blatant ripoff of when Stone Cold did it. I mean, it's the same exact thing, and that's just one example. But doesn't surprise me one bit. They probably in the evolution. I mean, for Triple H probably wrote this whole thing for, if anything, like
Yeah,
let's make another evolution,
yeah,
paying homage to himself.
yeah. But I think Sammy gonna turn, and that's probably gonna get to the Roman Reigns return. Then they'll do a
Yeah,
6-man tag team match.
indeed, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting, but AEW, get the title off Mox already, yo. Just get it off. It's getting stale, my friend. Get the title off Mox. I personally wanted Darby to win that, but see what you did there. I see what you did there. But that was a long time ago because originally Darby was the number one contender and Moxley took that from him and won the belt off of it and all that kind of stuff. But eh, that one is just a personal preference one though. So
I
I mean,
think Darby should have won it, but he decided to climb a mountain, and we might be waiting for him to get off that mountain to get the title.
I
I don't
forgot
know
he
who's
what
taking the title from Mox.
on the bright side. Oh well, he might when he come back. That may be who he's going after. But he did break a record. He climbed to the top of Mount Everest or wherever he climbed and did a kickflip on there, and he has the record for the highest kickflip because he did it at the top of the mountain. So I mean, hey,
That sounds stupidly dangerous, but okay.
I mean,
As long as he's alive.
bro, it's Darby. This guy did a senton into sheets of glass, bro. Who are we talking about? Sheets of real glass. They don't use gimmick glass over there. It's not that breakaway stuff. This is you saw how bloody his back was. That was real fresh out the window section of Home Depot glass.
Exactly why CM Punk left. Real glass.
Yeah, for crying out loud. So yeah, so I mean, Darby is I feel like he's one of them. That's their Jeff Hardy. I'll say that. That's their Jeff Hardy. Because Jeff Hardy was jumping off of. If you gave him the chance, Jeff Hardy would jump off of a skyscraper. So
Yeah,
this is this is their version of the Jeff Hardy, probably with a little more grit to him. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that makes sense. What do you think of Alicia Fox and TNA now?
I love it. I love it. I really definitely feel like she was one of the main women from back in the Divas era who had so much talent, so much skill, but there was nobody else there. There wasn't a lot of women there that could match it. She had a whole lot of wrestling ability and athletic ability, but it was hindered by the Divas era. That was the pretty girl model era of wrestling. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think it's perfect that because she fits right into this generation of women's wrestlers. And arguably TNA has one of the best female rosters when it comes to just pure talent. So I personally cannot wait to see the kind of matches that she has over there. I think it's perfect for her to be in this generation right now because she has the skill and athleticism. Like she was way ahead of her time. If you understand, she was way ahead of her time.
Yeah, she got a title match coming up on the 23rd against Masha
Yep,
Slamovich. I
yep.
think she might win
I'll
it.
be, she might, and for real, she deserves it. I like for real. I'm excited for it. I'm actually very happy to see her back. So she's kind of like what she's like late 30s or whatever. She's like the OG of the women's locker room, if you would, or she could be. She might have now. She might not be that right out the gate just because she's new, but then again, just because of age, seniority in the business and what she already accomplished. You know, I don't know how these. I don't know how these locker rooms work. And I only know based off of what other wrestlers say, but I'm just guessing. But she has. This is what I'm basically trying to say. She has the respect of her peers already. I would assume. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I would assume she would have that. So I think it's all in all. I can't wait to see what she does. I think she fits perfectly with the climate of women's wrestling right now.
yeah, I agree with that. I think if she don't win on the 23rd, I think what's gonna happen, Tessa Blanchard gonna cost her because they're doing the story with Robert Stone and her for that whole thing, and I think it'll lead to a triple threat match with them two and Masha Slamovich, and that's how she ended up getting the title, and
Hmm.
to win the title that way.
Yeah, and I like that they brought her in as a heel too. I think she always did what she did great heel work personally. I like her as a heel.
Yeah, and TNA got Indy Hartwell now too, so I'm excited to
Hmm.
see what they do with her.
Yeah, I'm curious. I wonder if Shotzi gonna go over there. I feel like she would be good over there too. You know. Well, granted, we won't know until her 90-day whatever it is up because they can't go nowhere or wrestle until 90 days after their release, and they're still in the
Yeah,
middle of that.
because she probably negotiating with somebody right now.
Oh, I can promise you. I can promise you. She was one of them ones. If it wasn't for that injury, they would. I promise they would have been doing something. But and I was a fan of hers too, so I'm very very curious on where she decides to go.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they had put her back in NXT when they did, because she was doing some good stuff on SmackDown, and they got
Yeah, I
caused her
think
to get down.
because I think she requested to go to NXT. Something about like because I think she was they had a big program for her, but being that she was, I guess I don't know. I don't know if it had to do with a different injury or so on and so forth or whatever. But she wanted to do a run in NXT to build up anticipation because granted her first initial run there she was killing shit and I saw in the interview she did on Busted Open, they had a whole bunch of stuff that was a whole bunch of dope stuff that was about to go down, but she tore her ACL or whatever she tore in her knee or her leg and just shelved all that stuff, so it's unfortunate.
Yeah, but I'm gonna wrap this up. Appreciate you for coming on, talking about
Oh,
the
you
rest.
already you already know. I was just popping on to see if you were on there. Shouts out to my guy Ed. And y'all better stop playing. If y'all see this live, y'all better subscribe to my guy and hit the dang like button, yo. Stop playing.
Yes, sir. Have a great night.
Yeah. You as well, homie. Be easy.